Yes, sir. All right. Let's get it. Get everybody in the building. Give it a sec. Let's get this work, man. Let's get this work. Y'all know what it is today. Before y'all even get in the building, go ahead and start. Hit that like button. Smash that like and you know, subscribe and share this video. Yeah, today, this video was inspired by a brother, a Muslim brother that called to me, called my number, called, we talked, and he was very upset with the Moors. And, he was giving me a mouthful about Moors, not they really Muslims, and how they really, how they messing up the game for Orthodox Muslims, that Moors are not Muslims. And I'll be truthfully, he was being very disrespectful to Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad and those type of people. Okay, um, it was very very zealot, like, and I'm not, I wasn't going to get into it with him, but some of the things that he was saying about Moors, we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so so before we get into that, just y'all hit the like button, smash that like button, and this and that, man, because we're gonna get into some stuff today. We're gonna get into it. Before we get into any of that, check out all my books on Amazon. Okay, if I got a few books, you're gonna have to like one of them. You know, so check them out. Moore's Mo by Man Canaanite Connection. That's the latest book. That's a really good book. It's really breaking down the Abrahamic religions, kind of what we're talking about, right? So, birthrights, treaties 1 and 2. If you got the first treaty book, you should definitely get the second treaty book because there's a lot more in there. Uh, my latest book is Navigating Melanated Life in Relationships in the Modern Era. So that's a really good book. Check it out. If you don't have a Circle Seven Quran, we got the Moorish Temples version of the Circle Seven Quran. So it's been updated. It's got a lot of information in there. Then we got the Wake Up Africa. So check out our books. And like brother King El Bay, he got his book on child support that's on there too. So y'all can check him out as well. All right. So with that being said, let's get into this, right? Because like I said, what's happening? What's happening with a lot of Moors is, most of the time Moors are represented as being a form of Muslim, right? So like you might see the term Muslim, Moslem, right? You might see that term, Muslim, right? But for real, Muslim, 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 all these terms, are diluting to Islam. Many know it as Sunni Islam, Sunni Muslims, which I'm sure that's what the brother was that was I was talking to on the phone. He was a Sunni Muslim, and one of the things that we have these misconceptions. Like a lot of Muslims, they'll look at us as calling ourselves Moors, and they will say that we are stealing from their culture. Muslims, from especially from him, the brother on the phone, the Muslim brother was saying that the term Moor is synonymous with Muslim. All right, so he was saying that in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, when it is when it's in Arabic, there wasn't the term Moor for that. Okay, so his position was that a Moor is a foreign term that was given to them as a term to describe them. Now, I'm not against that, right? I mean, like the term Moor, as we're gonna look, the term Moor really is something that was used to describe people of North Africa. The term Moor really wasn't the term that people used in North Africa. People who lived in North Africa didn't use the term Moor, right? So he is right about that. A lot of Muslims are right about that. But where the discrepancy comes from is that Muslims believe that the term Moor came to describe Muslims. They think that the term Moor is synonymous with Muslims. And that is not true. If y'all in the building, you know, hit up, please, get in the link and we can talk about this. Because I'm not here to say that I'm right or wrong person, but what I have understood historically is not what he is speaking on. And so me and him started out having a good discussion, but he started to get very zealot. Like we talked about the term Moor. He said the term Moor it means from the West, which is really what the term Morocco come from. Morocco is really is Maghrib, right? It's Maghrib, is not Morocco. Morocco is the term that they use in after 1956, right? So that term, that term ain't even the right term, right? So let's get into this though. We're gonna look at the term Moor. Okay, we're gonna settle. I just want to settle this, man, because I'm tired of the Muslims, the Sunni Muslims coming over here trying to tell us how to believe and what to believe in. Because he was trying to, first of all, being a Moor is not synonymous with being a Muslim. However, there are a lot of Moors that are Muslim. Noble Drew Ali when he put the temple together, that's what he came under. So I understand the term and it being, connected to Moors, Muslim and Moors, but don't get it twisted. That's not where Moors come from. The term Moor is not an Islamic term. It is not to describe Muslims. It was something that was put on them years later, almost like 1,000 years or so after the term was used. Then it began to be used with the term Muslim. Okay, so I don't want to hear that. Y'all got to show me the facts on that. All right. So let's get into this. We're gonna look at the term Muslim, right? But before we do that, I want to show you something though, because the term, one of my brothers, brother Elasada, okay, I'm gonna show you his video. We're gonna go into his video, right? We're gonna go into his video. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna look, because he got a video, y'all. It's called Moors Doesn't Mean Westerner. Doesn't come from Mahurin. Because one thing about it is that's what I had first begun to understand where the term Moor came from. I thought it came from the term Mahurin. Okay, that was supposed to be a Phoenician term that was given to people of the west, of the northwest, right? So they were west of them. So basically, it was just like, oh, you're talking about the people from the west. So the term Moor, from what I understood, it meant west, and this is what the Muslim brother was saying too. But I remember this particular demonstration, so I want to talk about this. I'm not going to show the whole video, but big up, shout out to Elasada. That's one of my brothers as well. You can check out his video.
Word. Remember what I told y'all? Let's zoom in so we can stop playing. All right. Moor. Moor.
Look.
A luminary.
Look, that is in Hebrew, right? So we're talking about Hebrew, right? Now, from what we understand, we know Hebrew is much older than Islam. as religion wise, as an established, organized religion. Islam, meaning Sunni Islam, Sunni Muslims, that type of thing, came after this right here, Judaism.
Okay, a luminary. Let's keep going. Meor. Here you go. Now this one is pronounced different than this one. This Moor and this Moor is pronounced different. See, this is Maor. This is Maor. This is Meor. Meor. Here you go again. Meor. Meorot. Meorot. Meoro. Light bearer. Luminary. What? Light bearer. Luminary. Lamp of sun, of moon. But can we see here? This is more. Now, I don't want y'all to sit here and play me, because I know it's going to be some folks that's going to sit here and try to play me and be like, well, that's modern Hebrew and that ain't got nothing to do with the Canaanite or the Moabite. Now, this right here is Hebrew alphabet chart. All right. This is the pictograph. I like to call this the pictograph script. This is like damn near as old as you can get. And you can see it's very similar to the Hamitic letters, right? So here you go. Look how old. That's old. That's older than what y'all know as Canaanite, right? Here goes Canaanite, Moabite right here. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Da. Here it is right here, okay? Here it is in modern. You see how all those alphabets are the same? So all you have to do is know how to convert. All right, how else do I know that? Look at this. Moabite script right here. Ayin, Resh, Bet.
Now look, stop it real quick. Breaking down this, look, he's showing you Moabite script, Paleo, Hebrew script. These scripts are older than Islam. They're older than the Muslims that we know today. Okay. This was way before Muslims even came into North Africa. Way before then. Okay. And for real, that when the Muslims came into North Africa, that is when they started to be associated with the term Moor by others. So like Romans, Greeks, people of Europe began to look at these Arabs as Moors as well. So before they came in there, they were already North Africans being described as Moors. So Muslim and Moor were not synonymous. Okay, you can stop that.
Maim, Ayin, Resh, Bet. Maim, Ha, Wa, Resh, Yod, Nun. Mayim, Chet, Wa, Resh, Yod, Nun. Like, this is Paleo Hebrew, you see? So as long as you know how to read these scripts, the older ones, you know how to convert them into the new ones, and you know that it's the same word, right? There's just no getting around it whatsoever at all. All right, but hold on though. Let's not stop there. We don't want to leave anything out. Here we go. We got Meora, light hole, or Babylonian Uru, seat of moon god worship. This is the root word. You can't be a Moor without the light. You can't be a Moor without the light.
All right, so I want to stop it there as well because his brother Elasadai, he eloquently uses the term Moor to mean light. Okay, it means light. So, you know, and I'm not. This is a side note, but Illuminati or to illuminate is meaning a light bearer. So the term Moor in its etymological form coming through Hebrew scripts, it means light. Okay, and so he goes all into that spiel, but understand that that term is not what we think it means. It's not. Okay, so uh, we need to understand that. We need to understand it. So the term and the origin of the term Moor is really a Hebrew or Hebraic, Canaanite. It goes back further than Islam. Okay, further than Islam. So we're gonna keep going in there. Y'all please like like and subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. But we're gonna keep moving in on this, okay? Because we want to look at various different aspects of the term Moor. So now you guys are understanding some things. Who was considered Moors? Because we always getting into this. Who was considered Moors? So let's look. We're gonna look. Hold on. I gotta. Okay. Let's look at this one real quick. Let's look at this. All right. So we got the term. This is coming from. And now this is coming from the online etymology Bible. I mean dictionary. All right. The term Moor. The term Moor, North African Berber, one of the race dwelling in Barbary. Now, I want y'all to understand the word Berber. We use that term Berber as if they used that term Berber. They did not use that to describe themselves. The term Berber, which most things that we using, the term Berber is coming from Latin or something, right? Latin. If you look at the word Berber or Barbary is, meaning barbarian. You see what I'm saying? Don't touch this. I'm leaving this for my mom. Okay. So what we're seeing here is the term North for the North African Berber, okay, or barbarian, one of the race dwelling barbarians, late 14th century, Old French Moor from the medieval Latin Moorish. So now we're gonna go back further though. So then we're going back. It says from Latin Maurus, okay, inhabitants of Mauritania. Now, so the term Maurus is coming from Latin. Okay, who spoke Latin? Rome. Romans spoke Latin. So we're talking about Romans. Romans pre-existed before Islam. Matter of fact, the Roman Empire had already fallen by the time Islam became a religion. So let's just put this in perspective, okay? So we're going from Latin, then we talk about Greek. Now, Greeks were a little bit before Latin. So the Latin gets it from the Greek. Maros, okay, perhaps a native name, or else congate with Maros, black. But this adjective appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name. Now it says this, and this is where, right here, is where the Muslims begin to try to take shape of it. Okay, this is where they try to take control of the term. It says also applied to Arabic conquerors of Spain. So now we're talking about the Arabic conquerors, which were the North African conquerors, right? We're talking about Tariq, right? We're talking about when Tariq came in there and up into Spain. That was in 711 AD. So we're talking about, to make it a marker, we're talking about 711 years after the Roman Christ, Jesus, right? Just to give you a perspective of how long. What are we talking about? Moors go back to BC, so they go back at least 300 or 400 years before Christ. The term is at least 700, 800 years used prior to Tariq and North African Berbers and the Arabic conquerors. It was used at least 800 years before the Islamic Muslim conquerors, or I won't even call them conquerors, but when the Muslims came into North Africa, that term was already used. It says being for dark people, being a dark people in relations to Europeans. Their name in the Middle Ages was synonymous for Negro. Being a nearest Muslim to Western Europe, it was used indiscriminately of Muslims. You see what I'm saying? So it was used indiscriminately of Muslims, but especially those in India. Okay, the Dutch Moor, German Moor, Danish Moor, Spanish Moro, Italian Moro, Mores. So this definition is what the Muslims and everybody is trying to use to describe what a Moor is. So when we talk about Moors, they always want to make them Arab, and that's why the Arabs or the Muslims, okay, because you got brothers who are Muslim, but they take that Sunni Muslim stance, which is an Arabized version of Islam. Okay, the Arabs have their own version of Islam, and we're gonna talk about the Arab. We're gonna talk about Arabs a little bit further down the line. All right, we're gonna talk about it. Let's go back to this. Let's see what's cracking with everybody. All right, so what's really going on? All right, what's really going on? So let's keep on looking at this. Let's keep on looking at the term more. We gonna keep looking. Okay. So now we understand that the term more is being used by Muslims that Johnny come late. Johnny come late. Okay. And we not we not on it. We're not on that. So let's look at. All right. So we're gonna look at because we talked about the Moors in North Africa and the Berbers. Okay, the Berbers. The Berbers is also another term. Now I wanted to. Now I did also before I get into that. There was another version of this that I wanted to get into. There is another perspective because this is this perspective I wanted to everybody to understand too. This is what I was always understanding my Moors to come from. Brother Alasadad, where we showed the video earlier, he explains why it may not be this. Okay. But I would be remiss if we did not discuss this part because I do think it does play a part because it's Phoenician. Okay. So look, so it's saying that the word Moor is derived from a Phoenician term, Mahurin, and is not Greek. So this is coming from a Phoenician. Okay. It says now, it says that we're aware of the ethnological tricks. Okay. So we looked at the tricks that they've used about Moors. And it would common sense would dictate that it's best to seek the origin of the term Moor from a source native to its inhabitants so that the people can account for their own history. Now, see when you start using fictional language, or they say supremacist theories, right, for the foundation. Now, you understand, sometimes, when we look at Islam or Muslims, they can be coming from a supremacist theory because, I mean, there were Islam Arabs that enslaved African people. Okay, just like the Christians or the Europeans enslaved people, right? So it wouldn't be too far fetched to say that some of this stuff can be coming from a supremacist of their beliefs, their theories, right? So let's look at the word. The word presumably. Hold on, before we get into that, it says right here, according to E.J. Brill's first Encyclopedia of Islam, Volume 5, okay, it says we find the following origin of the term Moor. It says the word presumably of Phoenician origin corresponds to an ancient local name and the natives of Barbary reproduced by the Romans, right? As Marpo, Mari, and by the Greeks, Marusi. So y'all can look that up. In the information cited above, it is clear that the word finds its origin in the Phoenician language and was reproduced by the Romans and Greeks, okay, as Marusi. This makes sense Now he's saying as Hannibal Barca, we know Hannibal, the general of the Phoenician Canaanite state of Carthage, right? We know Hannibal of Carthage, right? We talked about him before. You think about Carthage and Hannibal, you think about elephants, right? A great general. It says another interesting feature about this citation is that it is based in part on the histories written by Strabo, who lived from 63 BC to 24 AD. All right. So let's look at this. So we talking about BC. We talking about BC 63 to 24 AD. So that's still like what, I don't know, 500 years or so before uh, Islam, right? Before Muslims. Okay, now it says between that time, it says which shows us how far back the history of Moorish people has been recorded. The first encyclopedia of Islam continues. It says that the land of the Moors is Mauritania. Mauritania is one of the first terms that was used to describe Africa. What we know as the word Africa today comes from the term Mauritania. Okay, it says that the name, which has been derived either from Phoenician word Mahurin, meaning the Westerners, or with the probability a name of a tribe living before the Christian era in North Africa. Okay, so these titles and names were even used before Christianity, and we know that Christianity came before Islam came. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. Let's back up to the term Westerners. Phoenicians used the term Westerners because, like they said, they were describing people that were in the furthest reaches of the furthest west of North Africa. So, what is the furthest west of North Africa? It's Morocco, which is called Maghrib. Maghrib means the furthest west. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So this is where the Muslim brother was trying to say, oh, the term is it means Western that comes from other people using it. He's right. But that term that he's speaking still existed hundreds of years prior to Islam being a religion. So it's not to be used. How so? How could it be an Arabic word or used to describe Arabs? How could it be when the term existed hundreds of years before Islam? I don't get it. Okay, I just don't get it. So it says then this is why I wanted to go this here first. It says at a later date, okay, by extending the application, it says that Europeans have given the general name of Moors to the Arabo Berber peoples of the Mediterranean and Saharan Africa. The Mediterranean and the Saharan, as we should say, the Saharan Africa. Then gradually they came to distinguish out of this mass of groups, okay, with which they came into frequently more contact. Right? You see, those people. You see Moroccans, right? It says so that the name Moor came to be limited to people of Spanish, which they was Muslims in there, Jewish or Turkish origin of North Africa, and particularly to the nomads of the Sahara. So, do you understand what is being said? Basically, the term existed and then it was pinned on the people who had presently come into that area. Arabs came into North Africa much later in time. And it began to be used with Arabs in that later time. Period. Okay. So I need us to understand that. I need us to understand it. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get this algorithm up. Hope y'all following this, right? So let's go. So let's look at something real quick too. I want to look at this because we got black Muslims versus Sunni Muslims, and that was another issue with the brother on the conversation we had. He was very disrespectful about the Moorish, the so-called black Muslims who brought their version of Islam to the so-called black Americans. Okay, they we understand that the term Moor, how it is used, and how it's associated with us as black people today, it really directly comes out of Moor science. We talk about Noble Drew Ali. We got Noble Drew Ali. He brought a form of black Muslims. Elijah Muhammad brought a form of black Muslims. These brothers who were like me and you, grew up from the same kind of genetic stock as me and you, began to adopt Islam. And then they used Islam as a religious, made their own religious societies based on their version of Islam. So, with that being said, a lot of Muslims are not going to, they're not going to recognize that. They're not going to recognize that. So let me get into this real quick. Let me see what was said. It says I have northern and southern Italian and Sardinia in my DNA. Do I have Moorish blood? I would say that it's possible for you to have Moorish blood. I mean, the Moors were in those areas at least in the like 7 AD, 711 AD, 800 AD. I mean, Moors had basically taken up that area of South Europe. They had taken over Spain, and they had like Sardinia is that island, right there in Italy, right there by Italy. Sardinia is that little tribe. There's I might have to pull it up, but there's a crest. Their family crest in Sardinia had blackamoors on it. It had Moors on their flag, right? You got you got a flag with a red cross, a white flag with a red cross, and it had four Moors in it. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna pull up that flag, the old flag of Sardinia. Okay, we're gonna pull it up because I don't know if you being for real or not, guy. But I know that there was a flag like that. I believe. Okay, there you go. There you go. We're gonna pull this up. All right. Let's get into this real quick. Let's get into this. All right. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna pull this flag up. I mean, I'm just this is just the internet. It ain't me. The flag composed of St. George Cross and four heads of Moors, which in the past may or may not be the four heads bandaged, but blindfolded and turned always towards the hoist. But already well preserved pictures from the 16th century nearly clearly show a forehead bandage. Okay, so this flag, okay, this flag right here, you see, four more. So I mean, I don't know if you got Moorish blood, but what I'm saying is it's not out of the pocket to do that. To have Moors, it's not. It wouldn't be out the pocket that you guys had Moors there. I mean, I didn't want to get into this, but I'm glad that you brought that up. Okay, so guys can just look at that real quick. You know what I'm saying?
She's here.
All right. So, oh yes, brother. I mean, much honors to C. Freeman L. Much honors to C. Much much honors to C. Freeman L. I definitely studied under C. Freeman L. Okay, so that's peace. That's peace, brother. I'm glad Islam to you. I'm peace because a lot of brothers want to chop my head off because we a Muslim, like a brother who practices Sunni Muslim, or he is Arabic himself. I don't know if the brother was Arabic, but he sounded like he could have been Arabic. And I don't know. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, being a Moor is very sensitive to some people. And, you know, I don't know. Yo, hold on real quick. All right, okay, I'm back. All right, so boom. So we got some things connecting right there, right? So let us keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep building on this because like I said, Muslims are no disrespect to Islam and what they practice it, but Muslims are out the pocket when they're trying to correct us melanated brothers here in America. They out the pocket. They don't have no business doing that. We talked about him. You know, another thing we talked about, and I didn't get into this. I'm a sidebar, but one thing we talked about was that Noble Drew Ali studied with the Ahmadiyyan faith. Ahmadiyyan, and so he was saying that Ahmadiyyans are not true Muslims as well because Ahmadiyyans are after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay, so as many Muslims are, there is no prophet after Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay, so Noble Drew Ali, Ahmadiyyans, um, Elijah Muhammad, Farad Muhammad, all them brothers have no bearing at all to Sunni Muslims. Okay, so understand that. So now let's get back. Now when we was talking, so we was talking about the North African Berbers and Moors, right? Saying that Moors were predominantly in North Africa, used to describe North African people going far back, at least back into Roman, before Roman time. Okay, so we're talking about 200 BC or whatnot. So we're talking about like way before Islam. Okay, so now let's look at the term Berber, traditional Berbers, because this is the thing. What were Berbers? Because Berbers didn't always practice Islam. We act like that area. We act like North Africa has always been Islamic. But before the Muslims came there, they were already practicing something. They were already established with something. So let's look at Berber religion. Like I said, the word we're using the word barber, but Berber is not the proper term, but it's really like I said to describe what they call indigenous northern Africans. It says that traditional Berber religion is an ancient and native set of beliefs and deities adhered to the Berbers. Many ancient Berber beliefs were developed locally, whereas others were influenced over through contact with ancient Egyptian religion. So You got ancient Egyptian or borrowed during antiquity from the Punic or the Phoenicians. So some of the Berbers practice Phoenician, some of them practice Egyptian, some of them practice their indigenous culture ones. Like a lot of people didn't know that like what's it Medusa. Medusa is a Berber. It's originally a Berber person. So a lot like Zeus, like even like Zeus and all them were originally coming out of Berbers, a lot of it, right? And the Berbers accepted a lot of different religions. So it says, look, it says, or borrowed from antiquity, right? Okay, so it says some of the ancient Berber beliefs still exist today, subtly within the Berber population or popular culture and tradition. Okay, they had their own way of life. Okay, like it says right here, archaeological research on prehistoric tombs and Maghrib. Maghrib is the term for Morocco. That's the that's the real name of the land. Shows that the bodies of the dead were painted while the practice was known to the ISO. And we've talked about this before, but the Ibero Morosians, that's a name of a region of people. Let's look at that real quick. I just want to show you that. This is a blanketed of a period of lithic industry, okay, founded near the coast of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. It is also known from the single major site in Libya. So if you look at it, like we've looked at this before, but you can see this is like North Africa right here. So the Ibero-Mauritian people existed all across North Africa before Islam. These people are not Arabs. Okay, they are not Arabs. Okay, the name means Iberia and Mauritania. Okay, the word Mauritania is Moorish. That's a Moor, Maur, Mar, where you get the word Maurice. Okay, Saint Maurice. Okay, that term is known to be for North Africans, Aboriginal. Okay, so need not to digress, but I just wanted to show you that the Berber or the I'm gonna show you the real name of the Berbers. The Let's look at the name of Berbers because that's not even what they call. The term is called this the Amazigh. Okay, the Amazigh. That is what they call themselves. Okay, and there are forms of it. Okay, this is the endonym for indigenous North Africans, otherwise known as Berber. Okay, the Amazigh is also used in English as a native language plural, right? Imazigin. It says that it's sometimes, but not always used as well. So, like the the Berbers or the Amazigh had their own language, their own way of life prior to Islam. Okay, you got to understand that the Berbers or the Amazigh they used to fight. They fought against them in Morocco. They fought against the Muslims. They fought against the Arabs. But the Islamic influence over that region is strong. I mean, like it is pretty much predominantly uh, Arabic influence. The king of Morocco, he's Arab, and so Arabs have definitely taken over that area. But see, just because they taken over the area doesn't mean that that's the truth. That's the real aspect of it. That's not what it is. So we got brother Study More. Peace to you, brother. It says that we are all Moorish as in dark skin. That is the term to use as a general term. Exactly. The term Moor, it was used for that. You know, what we're trying to say is that that term is not synonymous with Arabs. That that term was used to describe something of long ago. Okay, so right, I was reading that. I said Amazon is an English word. We're saying that word, but what we're saying is that that's the translation of what they call themselves. That's not that's the English translation of what they call themselves. Not like, oh, we're going to name them this, but it's like if I asked you what you are, if I asked you today, like, what's your name, and you say it in a term like I'm Afghanistan. So I'm gonna try to spell it out. Well, how you spell Amazon? I must try to spell it out, and it would be English, but it's really based on the pronunciation of what they're saying. So I get it, but what I'm saying is a Berber or Amazon or any of them terms. Those terms are for those people of North Africa, and that the term Moor is dealing with them predominantly first before it was dealt with as Arabic or for Arabic person, and before them it was considered a certain type of person. Then it became to be known as dark skinned people, and then it began to be known amongst Arabs. So it's a lot to it. You see what I'm saying? Right. I'm not. I'm just. We're. This is for clarification. We're just studying the word. I don't. You know. We can all get up here and say, "Well, the word more means for dark skinned people." I mean, but that's not. That's the general. That's the general sense of it. We was looking at the word from an etymological value of it, and then we were building on it. Like I said, we were trying to show that the word is not Arabic. It's not a Muslim term. It's not to be used to describe Muslims like Muslims think. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying to you, brother. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate y'all in the comment section. That keeps the story going. So I want to keep pushing a little bit more on that because what I'm realizing too is that a lot of people are going to say about the Moors, not the Moors, but Arabs, the Arabs being dark skinned themselves. Because another thing too is a lot of Arabs today are very fair skinned, very fair skinned, I should say. And these fair skinned Arabs have kind of separated themselves from the darker people. Okay, a lot of slavery was going on in Arabs. A lot of Arabs conquered and enslaved African people. So they don't look at themselves that there comes a sort of a racist connotation of being lighter and darker. And so when we look at where did the Arabs come from, though? Arabs come from Arabia, right? So, I got to looking at Arabia. I got to looking up Arabia, right? And this is what they were saying. So let's look at this real quick because I wanted to look at this because we are going to tie it back into everything because, like I said, I think that Islamic people through the years have got their own way of looking at things, and they've kind of stopped. They've kind of got disconnected from their origin of history. Okay, like this says, it says according to the Arabs, according to tradition, I should say, Arabs are descended from. It says this from Southern Arabia ancestors. Okay, so according to tradition, Arabs consider themselves coming from the southern area of Arabia. Okay, the forebear of the pure and genuine Arabs, known as Arab or El Ariba. Okay, and the northern Arabic ancestor, and Adnan, the forebear, the Arabicized Arabs. A tradition seemed to derive from the Bible, makes Adnan, and perhaps, I'm not sure how to say this, but this is also descent from Ishmael. So they was able to, put it into the Abraham religion. And we talked about that. Y'all check out the video I did on Abrahamic religion. We know that we know that Islam is an Arabic, a Abrahamic religion, right? It says that the rival between the two groups spread in the Muslim conquest beyond Arabia. It it even recurred in northern Yemen in the 1950s. But it says right here, it says the darker skinned strand, okay, the darker skinned strand of who we talking about? Of these Arabs, the darker skinned Arabs, occur in southern Arabia, where also are found the low status groups, okay? And in the north are the other Suluba, known to the ancient Arabians, okay, regarded as being the non-Arab descent. So I just want to sink that in. From what I'm gathering, what I'm getting from Britannica is that the darker skinned Arabs from southern Arabia, and they say that the Arabs are predominantly from southern Arabia. Now, I don't want to get too far off, but me and another brother, me and brother Jamil, have been talking, and we're going to do a video on that. But southern Arabia comes up a lot in West African um, um, empires. Okay, which I'm not gonna get into that tonight. But what I'm saying is that the darker skinned Arabics tend to come from southern Arabia. Now, what I thought also was interesting was what I thought also was interesting was that let me see. I want to show some that when we talk about southern Arabia, we got to talk about that region being conquered or being under Queen Sheba. Okay, Queen Sheba. I wanted to look at her real quick. Let me see. Let me find. Let me see if I can find that. Here we go. Bust this out. I think this is the right one. Let me see if this is it. I'm not sure if this is the right one. I'm not thinking that's the right one. Basically, what we find out about Sheba was Sheba or Saba or Saba is Queen Saba is over Saba. Saba is in Yemen. Yemen is in southern Arabia. That is southern Arabia. So when they're talking about the darker people, the darker Arabs coming out of southern Arabia, it seems like it is. All right, so y'all, so let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if that come up. I may have not. I may not have shared it. I may not have shared it. Let me. Yeah, I may not have shared it. Let me keep on what I was doing though. Let me. There was another part I wanted to look at because I did want to show. You know, before I get off, I did want to show this part too because, like I said, we've been looking at the date. We've been looking at the dates. We can see when the term Moor was used. We can see the term Moor was used um, back in the BC, back in before Common Era. Okay, so let's look at when the Arabs came into North Africa. It says the Muslim conquest of North Africa continued the century of rapid Arab Muslim military expansion following the death of Muhammad, peace be unto him, in 632. So Muhammad, peace be unto him, uh, death happened in 632 AD, 632 years after the Christ era. Okay, so we talking about this is way after Rome and everything. The Arabs start coming into Africa, North Africa. Okay, so this says that they took place largely under this Caliphate, right? The Umayyad Caliphate. Okay, so it's saying that this Umayyad regime was founded in 661. Syria was the main power base. Okay, it says the Arabs reached Maghrib. Now, like we said, the Arabs reached the Maghrib in the early Umayyad times. It says departing from Damascus, Arab forces marched into North Africa, and in 670, okay, it was established as a refuge base for further operations. By 698, the Arabs had taken most of North Africa from the Byzantine. The area was divided into three provinces. So this is when, in the 700, basically in 698, 700 AD, right? Muslims had conquered North Africa and started dividing it up. They've been there so long, they think that they from there. You can't tell them that they not from there. They will fight you up and down tooth and nail, act like they from there. They only came in there at 698. 698. Okay? So, I mean, that's been a long time, but it ain't been the longest time. That's what you need to understand. That these people come into a region at a much later time, and now they've been there so long that they actually believe that they are the original people there. They have basically uh, replaced the Berber people. They're still there, but they have been so Arabized. They have been converted into Islam. So they have lost their original identity as a Moor and have taken on the Muslim form of Moors. And this time frame that we're talking about, which is up to now. So the Arabs have been in there from 698 till now. And when Noble Drew Ali came in the 1920s or when not, or in the teens, that he was coming into an Ottoman empire and a Muslim, very, very, very much established Islam had been in Egypt and North Africa when he would have went in 19. Come on now, we talking about from 698 to 1910. Like it was Islamic. So a lot of I see like a lot of the principles that Noble Drew Ali was taking would have come out of Islam. It would have came out of Islam, right? It says the Berbers, the ethnic group indigenous to North Africa. The Berbers are not Muslims. Okay? It says they spoke a Berber language, which together formed the Berber branch of an Afro-Asiatic family. And it says since the Muslim conquest of North Africa in the 7th century, a large number of them inhabiting Maghrib have acquired different degrees of knowledge and varieties of language in North Africa. So, like I said, if you go to Morocco, it's Muslim, it's Arab. It's basically they speak Arabic as the national language. Everything, um, it is what it is. So, I mean, you guys, we gotta really understand that and look at this, right? I think brother gone, but I want to see what he say. He says, "Oh, but more does work like that with English people, right?" I mean, it's let's see what this say right here. Islam more supreme honors to the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors, much honors to Noble Drew Ali, and that's what we say. Like the Muslims can't understand that Noble Drew Ali came for the people here. They think that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him, that lived back then is the only one. But for real, that prophet came for them and gave them what they needed to get them where they need to be. But that does not mean that there's no more prophets. As the world keeps moving and growing, and as the world keeps getting older and older and changing, there's going to be a change. You're going to have another prophet or somebody who can come in and be a prophet. We understand that the word prophet doesn't mean just one term. A prophet is somebody who is a spokesperson for a people. So there are going to be prophets or people who come to speak on behalf of a group of people. They're going to continue to come. You can't put a cap on who's going to be a prophet. Okay, and this is not to disrespect anything. It's just to say that everybody is not going to believe or be under the same uh, belief system. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have everybody under Christianity. You're not going to have everybody under Judaism or under Islam. There are other spiritual practices that still exist and that are practiced today. So, you know, honors to our ancestors, Ashe, 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 for bringing that knowledge to us. So, you know, I hope you guys appreciate, the information. Please like and subscribe. We'll keep banging these videos out. Check for me and King El Bay, our next video dealing with Moorish, Pro Se Moors edition. So we're going to be dropping this heat for y'all. So until then, Tuta Nana, peace.